get our acceleration here with the Trail Boss. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're gonna be going over the all-new 2021 Chevy 1500 Trail Boss with the 6.2 liter V8. But first and foremost, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Chevy here in Murray for giving me some time with the truck. Check out the inventory in the link below. Let's get straight into the video. Under the hood of the Trail Boss, we have a naturally aspirated 6.2 liter V8 that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 15 around town and then 19 on the highway, with power outputs being 420 horsepower and then 460 pound-feet of torque. Now let's go over the front end of the Trail Boss. So first and foremost, you guys can see you've got the really cool hood that I love on all the Chevys. It's just across the whole lineup, but I think it looks really good. 6.2L badge there on the top of the hood, and then you got the Z71 badge there on the side. It would be cool if that was also blacked out, but it doesn't look bad or anything like that. And then you can see you've got the full LED reflector lights with the accent lights as well. Fully blacked out front grille with a blacked out Chevy bow tie. Again, Z71 logo. Again, you got your parking sensors all across the front with the red tow hooks and then fog lights as well. But yeah, overall the front end, I love how it's all blacked out, but it also just looks really aggressive. Now coming around the side here, you've got two 75mm tires on 18-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear, and yes, they are 33s. And then you guys can see the actual tread pattern on the tires, really aggressive. These would do great on the off-road. The one recommendation I would have is to keep these tires aired down a little bit below what the factory has them set at so that the tires actually wear nicely. But anyways, you guys can see the front suspension. This does come with a 2-inch lift on the front end from the factory as well. I love the overall blacked out design again with the wheels. And then you guys can see you've got the blacked out mirrors as well, blacked out side steps. You guys are probably noticing a trend. Everything on this truck has been blacked out. Now let's go over the bed of the Trail Boss. So first and foremost, you guys can see that you've got a cover here on this part of the bed, and you've got liner for the rest of the bed. And then you do have these LED bed lights back here with the full power outlet as well. And then this does have the shorter size bed. If you guys are wanting, payload capacity with the Trail Boss is about 1,500 pounds. Let's go over the rear of the Trail Boss. So again, you guys can see you've got little Trail Boss logo there on the side. Then you got Chevy's signature taillights here for the rest of the rear. Again, everything's been all blacked out here on the back. So you've got like the LT badge, the Silverado badge. And then you do have the little side step right there. Parking sensors across the back. Towing capacity is about 9,300 pounds with the truck. And then another cool thing, you've got the squished exhaust tips, but they've also been blacked out. So again, this truck is like the Batmobile of trucks right now. Now before we look over stuff here, I just want to show you guys the little shock there in the rear with the truck. And you guys can see the tread pattern pretty well from that angle. And then also the gas cap is on this side as well. It's capless, which is pretty cool. But here's the door panel on the Trail Boss. Soft touch all along the door panel. You've got the stitching, you've got this wood trim, which it'd be cool if this was blacked out as well, which honestly wouldn't be too difficult to do yourself. And then you guys can see you've got little seat cubbies with the soft touch seats, which again, I really like these seats in general, just like the look. And I think that every single truck should have like these seat cubbies. I think they're cool. The overly massive headrests, which yeah, anyways, you guys can see there's some storage under the seat. You get the rubber floor mats here with the truck as well. Let's actually step in. So this does have side steps, which makes life a whole lot easier. If you guys are running, I'm 5'11", you guys can see my headroom, and then you can see my legroom as well. And then you guys can see over here, you've got the USBs, you've got the little 12 volt as well, a couple cup holders. And then yes, this pulls down and you've got some more cup holders back here. But yeah, overall, it's a nice place to be here in the rear. Let's go over the door panel here at the front with the Trail Boss. You guys can see you've got soft touch all along here with the wood trim. You've got your window controls in this little area with your mirror adjustments as well. You've got the door lock and unlock, and then you got the little tubular door handle. Speaker for the Bose sound system. And then you guys can see the seats here at the front. And these seats are actually soft on the bolsters, which is definitely really nice in general. And then you guys can see you've got the adjustments here on the side of the seat. Pedal layout just down below. You've got a little parking brake right here, all of your light controls, your fog lights, your cargo light as well. You got your drive line select up here, so you got your auto, your 2-wheel high, your 4-wheel high, your 4-wheel low, and then you've got your trailer tow mode to one side, and then you get your drive mode to the other side. And there's one more look before we pop in. And here's the steering wheel with the Trail Boss. You guys can see you've got soft touch all around the steering wheel itself. Again, blacked out Chevy bow tie right there. You've got all of your voice command phone controls right here. These are the controls for the center stack. Heated steering wheel control button on the other side. You got your cruise control just over here. There are radio controls on the back of the steering wheel. And you guys can see this does come with the column shifter. You can shift the gears yourself manually with those little buttons right there. And then you have the stock over here for the windshield wipers. But overall, really cool steering wheel. It's cool that everything's blacked out on the steering wheel. Now here's the center gauge cluster. Notice that pretty much everything is analog for the setup with the gauges, except for that little center screen, which you'll just scroll through a bunch of different menus. You got your home screen, information on the vehicle, you got your music, your navigation, your phones, and then the settings for the truck. Nothing too crazy with that. And then with the drive modes, first off, you got the tow mode, pops with a little trailer, and then you have the drive modes. You've got your normal, sport, and then your off-road. Hopefully most of this truck spends its life in off-road mode, but these are mall crawlers too, which is sad to me. Now here's the center infotainment system. You guys can see response time on the infotainment system itself is really solid. It does come with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and of course the plastic wrap gets in the way. Anyways, with the rest of it, you guys can see that you've got the camera system. So you've got a backup camera, and then you can have the trajectory lens pop up if you want. You can turn it with the steering wheel, and then it also has the zoom in function as well. So nothing crazy, basically just a normal setup with the Chevy, but the resolution on the camera is really solid. Now just down below, we've got all of our analog buttons for the infotainment system, like the radio controls and then your shortcut buttons as well. Analog climate controls just down below that. Got blank switches on either side. Heated seats just above those blank switches. You got your hill descent control. This is for the power outlets. That's the stability control. That's for your hazard lights. That is to drop down the tailgate. And then if it had an arrow the other way, then it would have the tailgate raised, but this one doesn't, just the tailgate drop down. Auto stop start, and then you got your parking sensors as well. Trailer brake controls are integrated right here, and then you guys can see you've got the little USB with the 12 volts, and then you do get a full power outlet as well in that little area, and then we've got some more storage just in front of it. As for the rest of the center console, we've got wood trim here on the side, a couple of cup holders, and then you've got the center console itself with soft touch all over the top of the center console, and then you guys can see storage space is pretty decent inside, and then you got all the stitching all around with the glove boxes, which again, nothing too crazy happening with those. And then finishing things up top, this truck does have a sunroof, so just a regular sunroof, nothing too crazy. Controls for sunroof on either side, universal garage door openers in the middle, and then that little button right there, that is for the power sliding rear window. And then this does have a mirror dimmer. It doesn't have the camera mirror, so same little flap thing, just different function. Well, now that we're done going over the interior on this Trail Boss with a 6.2 V8, let's quickly get into the pricing. So, in terms of pricing, this Trail Boss with the 6.2 V8 stickers for about $60,000 before any type of market adjustment. That all being said, let's take this Trail Boss out and see how it drives. Talk about visibility before we set off here in the 6.2 liter Trail Boss. You guys can see visibility over the hood's really good. There's your visibility through both of the mirrors, and then here's all throughout the rest of the rear, so visibility is not an issue whatsoever. And let's set off. So we are setting off here in the 6.2 liter Trail Boss, and first and foremost, let's talk about the road noise and the ride quality. So from a ride quality perspective, this truck is really smooth. I actually just drove a 3500 with the Z71 package right before this, and this truck is so much smoother than that truck. I can tell a huge difference between both of the trucks. So like for an off-road truck, for an on-road experience, this does really, really good. And then in terms of the noise, it's average for the segment, nothing too crazy. And you actually don't hear a whole lot of noise from the engine. You hear some tire noise, obviously, because it's got these big aggressive off-road tires, but you don't hear a whole lot of engine noise. The engine's really quiet at idle. Gosh, the brakes are good, and the handling too. I love how this truck handles. Yeah, it doesn't feel big or anything like that. The brakes are really solid as well. So overall, first impressions with the Trail Boss on road, really good. Get our acceleration here with the Trail Boss. Gosh, I love the 6.2 V8 and how that feels. I'm actually going to pop it over into the sport mode, and I'll kind of slow down here so I can get us a second acceleration, just so you guys can see how it performs differently in the sport mode. So let's go. So you can see it definitely geared down quite a bit. Like, it was a lot more aggressive with the gear shift, but then it also went to a lower gear as well with the sport mode. And so that's kind of like the biggest difference that I'm noticing between the sport mode and the regular mode. Yeah, the sport mode is way more apt to gear downwards than the normal mode. It is not whatsoever. It's just kind of like, yeah, no, I'll just kind of gear down when I feel like it. So just a little bit different experience, right? That's kind of more tuned for the luxury side. But let's actually get into some of the things up with this 6.2 liter Trail Boss. So first off, I actually really like this truck. I love the exterior aesthetics of it. I think it's just a really good looking truck, especially with all the blacked out elements, including the blacked out exhaust tips, all that kind of stuff. It just looks really good in general, and this would be like the perfect spec for me to wrap over because it's all black already. But other than that, coming to the interior, for an off-road truck, these seats would be really easy to clean because they've got no perforations in them. And so if you got like mud or dirt on or anything on them, you can just wipe them right off. Whereas like the seats in my Raptor, for example, they've got all these perforations in them, so they're a lot harder to clean. So definitely like that with the interior. And the interior just definitely, like, I know some people complain with the Chevys that the interiors look dated and all that, but like everything feels like higher quality, if that makes sense. Like it doesn't feel like it's gonna break. It doesn't feel fragile or anything like that, which is something I definitely appreciate. And again, with an off-road truck, it's kind of what you want. And then with the engine, I definitely recommend the 6.2 V8. I think the 6.2 V8 is definitely worth spending a little bit extra money on because the extra power is just worth it. I guess my only complaint with this truck is I really wish that they would let you lock the rear end. It's electronic and it doesn't always pop in right away. That's my only complaint with this truck, is they just need to have it so that the axle lock is something you can just press a button to do. That's it. Everything else with the Trail Boss, it's a solid truck. That is going to sum things up with our video on this 2021 Chevy 1500 Trail Boss. And again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Chevy here in Murray for giving me some time with the Trail Boss. Check out their inventory in the link below. I will see all of you in that next video.